For the next few minutes, I'm not just here to talk. I'm here to guide you through an experience, a profound change of reality. By the end of this, you won't just grasp what's been holding you back. You'll feel something within you transform. You'll start to notice things differently, not just your thoughts, but how your reality has been weaving itself around you all along, almost unnoticed. And when that realization hits, everything starts to align effortlessly. So, here's what I ask. For the next few moments, silence the noise, set aside distractions, and be fully present. What you're about to hear isn't just knowledge to absorb, it's a doorway to step through. So, let's get started. Have you ever stopped to wonder if the voice in your head is really you, or just background noise you've mistaken for yourself? It's a bit unsettling to think about, but what if your thoughts aren't something you generate, but something you listen to, like a radio station you never signed up for? This idea might sound outrageous, but it holds the key to breaking free from the grip of anxiety, self-doubt, and that relentless inner critic. Allan, the philosopher who had a knack for turning reality upside down, believed that most of us spend our lives confusing the voice in our heads for our true selves. This isn't just some abstract theory, it's a wake-up call. Think about it. If you were really in control of your mind, why would you keep getting hijacked by negative thoughts, replaying old regrets, and worrying about things that haven't even happened yet? The truth is, what we often consider to be thinking is just a series of automatic responses from the subconscious, a collection of past fears and survival instincts. Recognizing this is the first step to reclaiming your freedom. But here's the twist. The more you try to control your thoughts, the more they seem to run wild. So what's the way out of this mental maze? It starts with realizing that you are not the voice. You're the one who listens. Once you grasp this, everything changes. The stress, the overthinking, the self-doubt, they all start to lose their power. But this shift isn't about silencing the mind. It's about understanding its nature and stepping into the role of the observer. So if you're tired of being pushed around by your own thoughts, keep reading. What comes next might just turn everything you thought you knew upside down. Topic 1. The voice in your head. The voice in your head is a tricky thing. Most people assume it's who they really are. But what if it's just a radio station playing in the background? This inner voice often chatters away, throwing out thoughts without your conscious input. The truth is, you're not the one generating these thoughts. You're just listening to them. It's like being stuck with a radio you didn't choose, one that occasionally blasts negative thoughts and survival-driven warnings. This perspective shifts everything, making you question who the real you actually is beneath all that noise. If you've ever caught yourself spiraling into self-doubt or replaying past mistakes, that's your inner voice doing its thing. But recognizing it as just background noise can help you detach a bit. Imagine watching a movie. You're aware of the screen, but you're not part of the story. Adopting this mindset can prevent automatic thoughts from dragging you into cycles of anxiety and self-criticism. This shift doesn't mean silencing the voice, but understanding that you're the one who listens, not the one who speaks. Learning to be the listener rather than the talker opens a door to self-awareness. Mindfulness practices, like meditation or even simple breath work, can help you observe these thoughts without getting entangled. Think of it like tuning out a commercial on the radio. You hear it, but you don't buy into it. This detachment is a powerful tool for reclaiming your identity beyond the constant chatter. It's a step toward realizing that the true you exists in the quiet space between those thoughts. Topic 2, subconscious as the source. The subconscious mind is like a supercomputer, constantly running in the background, processing past experiences, beliefs, and fears. Most of the thoughts that pop into your head aren't consciously created. They're pulled from this deep reservoir of data. The problem is, the subconscious often prioritizes survival over happiness, recycling old fears and doubts as a way to keep you safe. It's why you might hesitate to take risks, even when they could lead to growth. Understanding this can help you see that many of your thoughts aren't a reflection of who you are, but of who you were conditioned to be. For example, if you've ever talked yourself out of a new opportunity with excuses like, "I'm not ready," or "What if I fail?" That's your subconscious playing defense. It's not about what's true, it's about what's safe. Practices like journaling can help bring these automatic thoughts to light, letting you question if they're still serving you. The goal isn't to battle your subconscious, but to update it, like installing a new operating system that supports your current goals instead of reinforcing outdated fears. Reprogramming your subconscious starts with awareness. Affirmations, visualization, and mindfulness are powerful tools for rewriting those old scripts. By repeatedly feeding your mind positive, constructive thoughts, you can gradually shift your default patterns. It's like teaching that supercomputer new algorithms, ones that focus on growth rather than just survival. The more you practice, the clearer it becomes that you're not your thoughts. You're the one choosing which ones to keep and which to discard. Topic 3. The deception of the inner critic. The inner critic is that relentless voice pointing out every flaw and failure, often disguising itself as the truth. But here's the catch. Most of what it says is just a mix of past fears and survival instincts, not objective reality. This voice has a knack for turning minor mistakes into full-blown narratives about your worth, making it easy to believe that its judgments are facts. Recognizing that this critic is just another stream of automatic thoughts can be the first step toward freedom. It's like realizing the scary stories around the campfire were just that, stories, not monsters lurking in the dark. Think back to a time when you held back on sharing an idea, convinced it wasn't good enough. That was the inner critic at work, recycling old fears of rejection or failure. A powerful way to challenge this voice is through a technique called cognitive diffusion, naming the critic's voice like an old, grumpy neighbor. This mental trick creates distance, helping you see those negative thoughts as just one opinion among many. Journaling these thoughts and countering them with facts is another effective way to expose the critic's lies. The real deception lies in how convincing the inner critic can be, making you mistake its voice for your own. But once you catch on, you can start choosing which thoughts to entertain and which to dismiss. Practices like mindfulness and affirmations can help you replace the critic's negativity with a more balanced inner dialogue. Over time, this shift from self-judgment to self-awareness becomes a way of life, breaking the illusion that every thought must be true. Topic 4. Addiction to thoughts are strangely addictive, especially the negative ones. We tend to replay worries, regrets, and judgments on a loop, mistaking this mental noise for meaningful self-reflection. The truth is, this addiction to thought reinforces a fixed sense of identity, even when it's not serving us well. It's like being hooked on a TV show that's bad for you but too familiar to turn off. The mind craves the comfort of the known, even if the known is just a collection of recycled doubts and fears. This attachment to thought also creates a comfort zone, making it hard to step out of habitual patterns. If you've ever caught yourself ruminating over past conversations or future outcomes, you've experienced this firsthand. Breaking this cycle involves questioning the automatic narratives that keep playing in your head. Techniques like mindfulness meditation or a simple thought audit at the end of the day can help you see these patterns more clearly. Recognizing that not every thought needs your attention is a powerful step toward mental freedom. The irony is that the more we think, the less we actually live. Constant mental chatter drowns out the present moment, trapping us in a loop of analysis and second-guessing. Practices like grounding exercises or even taking a tech-free walk can help break this cycle. The goal isn't to stop thinking, but to choose when to engage with your thoughts consciously. This shift transforms the mind from a restless critic to a useful tool, opening the door to a deeper sense of freedom and clarity. Topic 5. Breaking free. Breaking free from the grip of automatic thoughts isn't about silencing them, but learning to question them. Mindfulness is a powerful starting point. By simply observing your thoughts without judgment, you create a gap between you and the mental noise. This space allows you to ask, is this thought true? Or better yet, is this thought helpful? It's a bit like stepping outside during a storm rather than being swept away by it. This detachment is the key to reclaiming control over your mind. Practical steps make all the difference here. Journaling is a highly effective way to unpack your thoughts. Writing them down exposes patterns that might otherwise go unnoticed. Another approach is the 5 whys technique. When a negative thought surfaces, ask why 5 times to dig deeper into its roots. This practice can reveal that many fears are just shadows of past experiences, not actual threats in the present. Simple breathing exercises can also help ground you, shifting focus from the whirlwind of thoughts to the steadiness of the breath. The real breakthrough comes when you stop seeing every thought as a command you must obey. By learning to be an observer, you realize that thoughts are just suggestions, some useful, some not. This perspective opens the door to freedom, where you can choose which ideas to act on and which to let pass. The more you practice this detachment, the clearer it becomes that true peace doesn't come from controlling your thoughts, but from not being controlled by them. Topic 6. The observer's perspective. Shifting to the observer's perspective is like watching a movie instead of being trapped in it. When you observe your thoughts without identifying with them, you gain a powerful sense of freedom. This mindset turns down the volume of the inner critic and exposes the illusion that every thought is true or significant. It's the difference between being lost in a dream and realizing you're dreaming. Practicing this perspective regularly helps you detach from automatic thoughts, making it clear that you're not the thinker. You're the one who notices the thinking. A practical way to embrace this observer role is through meditation techniques like noting, where you mentally label thoughts as they arise, worrying, planning, or judging. This simple act of naming creates distance, preventing you from being dragged into every mental storyline. Another useful exercise is to imagine your thoughts as clouds passing in the sky, acknowledging each one without trying to hold on. The goal isn't to eliminate thoughts, but to see them for what they are, temporary and often irrelevant. This shift to observing rather than reacting changes everything. It reveals how much of our stress comes from believing every thought that crosses our mind. By practicing the observer's perspective, you start to experience life with more clarity and less emotional turbulence. This mindset doesn't numb you to reality. Instead, it enhances your ability to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. It's the first step toward reclaiming the peace that exists beyond the noise of constant thinking. Topic 7. Illusion of control. The idea that we can control our thoughts is one of the mind's greatest illusions. If we truly had control, we'd never entertain negative thoughts or self-doubt. Yet uninvited ideas pop up all the time, proof that much of what we think is automatic. Accepting this can be both humbling and liberating. It's like realizing you can't control the waves, but can learn to surf them. This understanding shifts the goal from controlling thoughts to choosing which ones deserve your attention. Trying to control your thoughts often backfires, making them even more persistent. If you've ever tried not to think about something and ended up obsessing over it, you've experienced this firsthand. A more effective approach is thought surfing, acknowledging each thought without resistance and letting it pass naturally. Practicing mindfulness or the leaves on a stream exercise, where you visualize each thought floating away, can help weaken the illusion of control and build acceptance instead. This shift from control to acceptance doesn't mean becoming passive. It's about recognizing that freedom comes from responding wisely rather than reacting blindly. By accepting that some thoughts are just background noise, you stop wasting energy fighting them. This detachment makes space for clarity and intentional action, proving that real control lies in how you respond. not in trying to silence every unwelcome thought. Topic 8. Reclaiming true self. Reclaiming your true self starts with separating from the relentless inner voice that constantly narrates your life. This voice is full of labels, fears, and judgments collected over the years, none of which define who you truly are. The real you exists beneath the mental chatter, untouched by the constant stream of thoughts. Practices like meditation, spending time in nature, or even moments of deep focus can help you glimpse this deeper self. It's like wiping fog off a mirror to see your true reflection underneath. One practical way to connect with this true self is through self-inquiry techniques. For instance, asking yourself, "Who am I without these thoughts?" can reveal the peaceful awareness that remains when the mental noise quiets down. Journaling can also help by untangling the stories your mind tells and discovering which ones resonate with your authentic self. The more you practice, the clearer it becomes that the true you isn't the one who's constantly thinking, it's the one who's aware of the thinking. This realization transforms how you experience life. By seeing thoughts for what they are, temporary, often irrational patterns, you start to live more freely. Detachment from the inner critic allows you to make choices based on intuition and values rather than fear and survival bias. Reclaiming your true self is less about becoming something new and more about shedding what was never really you in the first place. It's a path to living more authentically, with less noise and more clarity. So if you're not the voice in your head, but the one who listens, what does that mean for how you live your life? Imagine the freedom of not being dragged around by every negative thought, every judgment, every replay of past mistakes. It's not about shutting off your mind, but learning to see through its tricks, like the illusion of control, the survival bias that keeps you stuck, and the inner critic that insists you'll never be enough. What if, instead of battling these thoughts, you could simply watch them pass by without getting pulled in? This shift doesn't happen overnight, but the tools are surprisingly simple. Mindfulness practices, journaling, questioning your thoughts. Each one is a step toward reclaiming your true self. The question is, are you willing to try? Are you ready to stop identifying with every thought that pops into your head and start observing them instead? It's a bit like waking up from a dream, realizing that the scary monsters were never real to begin with. If you're serious about breaking free from the mental noise and discovering who you are beyond it, then stick around. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you won't miss out on more insights like this. There's a whole world of clarity and peace waiting on the other side of that inner chatter. Are you ready to find it?